Oh,
Just trying to get my camera at a good angle.
we're live. What's up, Kingdom of Rock? This is Matt Gibson, and I'm here today. We're live in I'm in Los Angeles, California. We've got Mike Melinda as usual. How's it going, Mike?
It's fine.
Is it sunny in San Francisco?
It is sunny in San Francisco.
It's got the weather window there.
Absolutely.
Well, and our guest here I guess you're on the top in the top Hollywood square here on the other side. We have DJ Scratch, who really needs no introduction. You can see by the amazing swag back there behind. He's been doing this for a while in the DJ and producer game. How's it going, Scratch?
I'm good, man. How's everybody doing? Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Oh, we're doing great. And then we have Esther Crawford. She's working on Twitter Spaces from Twitter. How's it going, Esther?
Hey, good. Happy to be here.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you. I've been playing around with your new product in the beta. It's very exciting.
It's super fun. Thank you for coming on early.
Yeah, have you tried it yet, Scratch?
I love it.
Yeah, it's so cool, isn't it? You did one with me too, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. I couldn't remember. I've done it for about 5 of my friends. But yeah, it's a cool environment, and I think it's the thing I'm most excited about with Twitter Spaces is Twitter already has been around forever, and so like you'll be doing a Twitter Space, and like I think Justin Bieber randomly came into somebody's space the other day, and then of course everyone found out Justin Bieber was in there, and then all of his fans came in there, and it scaled pretty big, I heard.
Yeah, we had our biggest space today. It was a K-pop space that had 60,000 concurrent users. It was crazy.
Wow, 60,000.
Wow. So the infrastructure is great then. So it's not crashing or anything like that. To have a lot of people in there like that. That's beautiful. Question I have, Esther.
Go ahead.
When is it going to be available for iPad?
So, and we don't have immediate plans to have like a native iPad experience, but it should work if you're using the iPad version. I haven't tested it myself. I would assume that you could walk into a space because it's an iOS device. But I know that there are some really cool features that we could build in to like have a better sort of landscape experience. And we haven't done that yet. We've been working really furiously on Android. So that's actually kind of the next big push right now on Android. You can come in and be a listener or a speaker, but you can't yet host a space. And that is going to be launching in just a few weeks, which we're really stoked about.
It's definitely better. It's definitely better than that other place.
Dude, I heard like it was going to be like months when I first started the beta before it was rolled out to the public, and then all of a sudden your timeline went from like months to like right now.
Yeah, just a ton of momentum.
You look pretty composed, being that you're the focal point of all that energy and making spaces like work for everybody. Is that a lot of pressure?
I mean, I think it's, we have a bunch of people on the team. Alex, who was the original product lead for Spaces, I feel like he's really like handled the growth of a tiny team from like less than 10 people to dozens of people really well. And I think, there's so much energy inside of Twitter around this, because really this feature is Twitter. Like, our whole thing is the public conversation, serving the public conversation. And frankly, this is the public conversation, just in a different format. Right. And so for us, we really see it as incredibly important for us to use this new medium and enable people to talk with each other so that those conversations can happen on Twitter.
Now, swing back for a little bit, because Matt obviously is an early adopter of everything. So he jumps right in. I'm the cranky punk rocker who's cynical about everything. But for some of our Kingdom of Rock audience out there who might not even know what Spaces is or what you're trying to achieve with it, you don't have to go in the history of the world, but it might be nice for them to kind of get an idea about what is this? Why should I be involved?
Yeah, so Twitter Spaces is a new audio format inside of Twitter where you can go in and as a host, you can open a space. It's effectively an audio room. You can invite up to 10 speakers to join you up on stage, and you can have basically an unlimited number of listeners in the space. And listeners can interact by sending you emoji. Soon they'll be able to send you tips. And yeah, it's just like a way to kind of interact and hang out. Most spaces are actually like less than 10 people. They're just, small groups of folks, sometimes friends, sometimes just Twitter friends, and talking about various things. And then sometimes they scale all the way up to DJ Scratch size rooms and to that like celebrity musician type of space. And we see all kinds of cool stuff. People, listening to music, jamming, comedy hours, just all types of interesting use cases emerging.
And then Scratch, since, as a celebrity, with rooms within spaces, it's like, how do you interact with people? Is it weird at all just to have anybody kind of popping in or out? Or is this a chance for you to really grow and evolve as an artist as well?
No, it's actually not weird to me because I've adapted just being on social media a very long time ago. And I do understand as an artist that social media is the greatest thing that ever happened to artists and entertainers, because now you can talk directly to the people who've been supporting your career for all of these years. So it's great for me to actually talk to somebody who bought one of my albums or came to one of my concerts and they tell me their experience, and so I love it. So it's not a learning curve at all. I love it. So the more interaction, the better for me. And Twitter was the first one that I joined since that MySpace era had ended. And so now for Twitter to have this drop in audio where you can actually talk to those people on Twitter, I love it.
I really think Twitter is going to be the solution that a lot of starving artists in the entertainment business are looking for. And I think, as all the venues are closed due to COVID. There's no easy revenue for artists. You have to be innovative, which we're going to talk to DJ Scratch about that. He just did something really amazing online. But it's the idea of having the super user or the super follower, where you can kind of charge a paywall for your fan club for people to maybe be a part of a space or be a part of a Twitter conversation or something like that is really awesome. And, I'm really excited to see what you guys are going to do for artists in the realm of audio. Because I know when Google Hangouts came out, it was originally designed for conversational things. So you have those compressions that keep people from talking over each other and keeping the conversation balanced. But when you go to perform music in that environment, the compression does not like music and it makes it all sound dead, right? So I think one of the big challenges for some of these streaming services for artists is going to be having high quality audio. And I know that just playing through my iPhone, like classical guitar for people and things like that, people are like, wow, the audio is amazing. I imagine you guys kind of did a little switcheroo with Periscope, right? Where you took all the superpower of Periscope.
Took all of the fancy stuff for Periscope and brought it. I like that.
That was a good
move. That was
smart. The team that built Periscope, you have to think about this. Like, first of all, they started working on Periscope 6 years ago. They have built world-class audio and video infrastructure built on top of WebRTC that's cross-platform, that's totally scalable. And the idea behind Periscope really originally was being able to teleport into each other's lives and experiences. And, Periscope as a product didn't totally realize its potential and dreams. But one of the lessons coming out of it was actually that these audio rooms, and at the time there was a feature, it wasn't publicly called this, but internally it was called Hydra. And what you could do is actually bring audio guests in And it turned out that was really engaging. And so that's where like some of the original Periscope team members were like, literally 1 year ago over Hack Week, which is like a big thing at Twitter, where there's a 1 week every year in March where, the whole company gets to just hack on whatever they want. And this team decided to put together audio spaces. And so that was really the beginning of Twitter Spaces. And they just built it on top of the existing Periscope infrastructure and removed the video. And that's what Twitter Spaces is built on top of.
Yeah, which is why you can scale and have 60,000 people like that.
Yeah.
Right.
That's great.
I was upset when they took away the Periscope feature where I can tap in with my GoPro camera wirelessly.
Oh, cool.
Stream through Periscope through my GoPro. I'm like, why did they take that away?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that.
I think a lot of the stuff around video will eventually, be built out and come back. I mean, certainly the team feels like it's not like video is going away. There's just, how are we going to sort of reformat it? What does it look like? How do you tap into it? And those are some like unanswered questions, but like teams are exploring that. And I think there will be things to announce at some point that Twitter will build.
Well, let me ask you this.
I have a few ideas. I'm gonna DM you. I got a couple of ideas.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
I'm at Esther Crawford on Twitter, so I would love to get your insight and feedback.
Definitely, I'm gonna hit you tonight. Okay, Matt.
Yes.
No, Esther. So you didn't always work at Twitter, though, did you?
No, I'm fairly new.
So you recently got brought into the Twitter ecosystem. How did that happen?
Yeah, so I was the CEO and co-founder of a company called Squad, and Squad was a live audio and video hangout space. It was mostly teenagers. We had millions of teenagers using it, and it was like kind of like our bread and butter was co-shared experiences inside of the spaces. So what you could do was like watch TikToks together, watch YouTube, watch movies, and
Right.
that sort of co-watching was the big thing. We were planning on, we'd raised a little over $7 million from great investors, and we were planning to raise some more money. And we had inbound from a couple companies who were interested in us. And I have to say, this was in the fall of 2020. I initially was just very like nonchalant, like, oh, I'll take some of these meetings and like nothing's going to come of it because like we have a plan and like we know what we're doing. And those meetings really excited me. And then I started thinking of other companies that I might be interested in having in the conversation. And Twitter was one of those other companies. And to Twitter's corp dev credit, like they moved really quickly. They were excited about us. We got excited about them, and ultimately we struck a deal, and they acquired us. So that's the story.
Yeah, awesome.
That's incredible.
Good
job.
It's great that you're providing another venue for musicians with and Scratch. I think that it'd be valuable for you maybe to explain to some of the musicians out there how someone with your creative heat would use spaces to do something to get music out there, because I think as Matt said earlier, it's like we're trying to get musicians to understand they probably need to think about pivoting a little bit the music industry for people that are emerging or even people that have been around a while. Touring's dead, streaming not so awesome. However, in the tech space, there's all kinds of opportunity that I don't think a lot of people have really taken advantage of yet. So again, for you, how do you expect to take advantage of it?
Man, I'll take full advantage of it, especially in the tech space. When the pandemic happened, especially let's just speak from a DJ's perspective. All of the DJs, all of our gigs completely stopped. Mm-hmm. All the venues closed, and they had to figure out how to make money online, or just even how to reach their fans. So everybody, they started jumping on Instagram Live and Facebook Live, and then eventually Twitch. migrated over there. But I was already doing online DJing and streaming already since 2009. So when the pandemic happened, I didn't have to pivot at all. It was just a normal day for me. It just spiked like crazy because now everybody's home and everybody's online. So when the people so when the fan base, when everybody's fan base jumped online and they noticed like, holy shit, okay, we see his stream, we see him streaming from his phone, but how does DJ Scratch have 4 cameras, visual graphics? It's looking like Star Wars, and he's DJing all at the same time. He's running commercials. He's doing, you know. So it brought
You're
everybody's
a talented
attention.
man, DJ Scratch. That's what you got to
Yeah.
say.
So but my fan base, they're like, okay, we've been doing this for over a decade now. Where y'all been? So it was just so we were already taking advantage of it before it got to this point. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
But if somebody's starting out now, because everything, I mean, it's great that you're such a pioneer. That's awesome. But a year ago, everything stopped for us, and a lot of musicians are having to figure out. There was probably a period of depression where they didn't do anything. What am I going? I'm not going to do anything. And then there's now, okay, this isn't going to be over in 3 months. It's going to be months or years before we have a new normal. So what would your recommendation be to someone starting out now to kind of develop an audience with this new technology? Well, there's not new technology, but the way the technology resides today.
My main recommendation is interacting with your fans. I've been saying it, well, literally a year ago when everything started shutting down. And I told a lot of artists, like I would do Q&As like once every Friday, once the pandemic started. And I tell artists, musicians, and entertainers, everybody, what I noticed before the pandemic is that when people post on, let's say, Instagram or Twitter, mostly Instagram because that's the quickest interaction you can get because you can go live and all of that. They don't interact with their fans. So, they'll post, here's my flyer to my show. You better hit like, and if you live in that town, you better show up.
Yeah.
But they don't talk to the fans. You know what I mean? Here's my new car. Here's my new house. Here's my new woman. Here's, it's just constant me. This is what I got.
Right.
You better hit like, and I'm not going to talk to you unless you say something disrespectful to me. Then I'm going to interact with you. And that's how the majority of entertainers on social media behave. They take the fans for granted, but they don't understand that these actual fans are the people that finance your whole life. This money doesn't come out of the air. It's the people that are following you are the ones that are funding your lifestyle. But what they don't do is interact with those people. So I give you a perfect example, like Nicki Minaj. At the time before I unfollowed her on social media, she had 195 million followers on Instagram. And when she put out an album, she couldn't sell 500,000. That's insane.
Yeah.
But it's because she's misusing her social media. Instead of interacting with your fan, and of course you can't interact with all 195 million, but you can go.
Well, you can now.
Sounds very overwhelming.
Right, but go on the Instagram live. Say hello to a couple of people that are actually speaking to you. Answer one comment in the comments. Like, show them that it's actually you. And you're an actual real person. That and that's all it takes. Just interaction with the people. This is the space now. So now I'm seeing a bunch of people trying to figure this out. Now they want to, there's a meme that's going around of a DJ pushing a woman back that's trying to make a DJ request. I don't know if you ever seen that meme, but he's pushing her back because he's trying to request a song. So now the meme says, "Get away from me, don't talk to me." And then now the pandemic, please come talk to me. I'm about to go live. Let's talk.
Right.
So it's like, so it's like now you want people to talk to you because You ignored them before the pandemic. Now you want them to talk to you because you need them to talk to you. So my whole thing, the main thing, Michael, is just you have to interact with your fans. That's my main recommendation. Um, if you're trying to sell merch, if you doing a virtual concert, now it's no more. Here's a post. You better like it. Now you need these people, and you didn't know that you needed them even before the pandemic because they're the ones that still finance your life. So it's just about just interacting. Give them some interaction. That's the least you can do for people that finance your life.
Awesome. That's great. That's great advice. And obviously, as we go to spaces, you've kind of provided everybody out there, or Twitter's provided everybody out there with the optimum venue to do that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that like in so many cases, it's really about also being able to like directly monetize your fans, right? It's like having that direct relationship, exactly like what you were saying. If you're interacting with them, it's going to be so much easier to then monetize through various means, because like so long, I think in social media, there was this indirect relationship where the platforms kind of were in charge. And what I think the shift that's happening is platforms are trying to actually build more tools so that artists and other folks can actually directly interact. And then it's up to people to actually use those tools in ways to help build the relationships with their audience.
And it's less expensive. It's less expensive for the fans now as well, because let's just say a regular Friday night, right? I'm DJing at a club in New York, or I'm DJing at a club in LA. The average club patron, the average woman, she has to get her hair done. She got to get her nails done. She got to buy an outfit. If she has a child, she got to pay for a babysitter. Mm-hmm. Then she's gonna pay to get into the club, and the average person spends at least $100 to $200 in drinks in the club. So an average night just to go to a party or concert, the total is like about $1,000 for the average person total. For the average man, it's more because we gotta be fancy. We gotta get our hair cut. We're going to get our car washed. We gotta get our outfit. We gotta get our sneakers. And then we're the one that's buying the drinks. We gotta pay to get in the club, and then we're paying to go to breakfast after the club. So the average guy is paying about $1,200 to $1,500. Now the cats that got the money, that's buying the tables and the bottles, the bottle service guys, their average is $5,000 a night in a club. So online, like when Spaces opens and the monetizing part opens, a person can just spend $50 or $100 and listen to music, have fun, don't have to get dressed, don't have to, go through all of the things they have to go through in the course of a night. Don't get harassed by anybody at the bar, all of that, all of the stuff that comes with nightlife. And it's great. It's easier for the fans and less expensive for the fans as well to enjoy the same experience virtually.
It's kind of scary. It's like, would I ever go out again? You just taught me how to stay in and save a bunch of money every night.
Oh, it's expensive. It's expensive. In the real world, it's very expensive. It's very expensive.
Are you guys are you allowed to say anything about VR AR stuff in the future? Do you have anything you can share about that for Twitter?
There's nothing.
Because that's going to be amazing.
No.
That's going to be amazing experience for the artists.
Any VR on Twitter is going to be insane.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear people's ideas and thoughts, though. Wow. Always open to hearing people's dreams for what we should be doing and thinking about.
I mean, we've been having a lot of conversations, even to the point where, with the spatial audio and stuff like that. Matt and I have talked about this, where you could get a film of Abbey Road in the 60s, walk into a Beatles session and stand behind Ringo's drums and hear just how Ringo would hear it.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning. I mean, it's just going to be mind-blowing, the experiences people will be able to have.
I have my Oculus goggles ready.
You know what? Sorry?
Oh, you can't use those though. Twitter won't let you use Oculus. You gotta get a different brand. That's Facebook.
I have Oculus too. I used it to explore a bit of Burning Man when they did the virtual Burning Man this past summer. It was fun walking around listening to music.
It would be smart for Twitter to actually manufacture their own goggles that only work for Twitter.
Yeah.
Are you trying to play poker with Esther?
She's starting to sweat. Esther's starting to sweat when you said that, bro. I think we got her, man. We got some information.
Nice job, Scratch. That was awesome.
No, but
one thing I will say that most people don't realize actually is of all of the big tech companies, Twitter is small. We are tiny in comparison to Facebook and Apple and Google. Yeah. We have a little over 5,000 employees. Those companies have tens of thousands, sometimes 100,000 employees. Yeah. So we're still small in that sense. So we're scrappy and have to be really thoughtful about the products that we build as a result of having fewer people.
Well, I think it's good to be scrappy because I think that Matt and Scratch know more about this than I do probably, but I'm assuming that Spaces, you're not going to kneecap people who want to go into a room. I mean, the complaint for a lot of musicians is I've developed 10,000 fans, but Facebook won't let me reach them.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
I had.
No, we're trying to do the opposite. We're trying to help discovery.
That's
it.
That is exactly where Twitter will win, and it's all about all of these different social media sites. It's about the person, the company that's gonna make the space the coolest place to be will be the winner. So it doesn't matter that Facebook has more employees and let's say infrastructure and money. If your spot is the coolest spot, that's where everybody's going to be.
Well, also, even with you talking about these super fans, it's like, Facebook's not helping me monetize for, not directly. And it's if you're not tech savvy, you're probably never going to figure it out. But this whole super fan thing is like, it's easy to figure out. It's probably going to be easy to do. Boom. I mean, how awesome is that?
Yeah. Just like a quick kind of maybe your audience hasn't heard, but about a week ago at Analyst Day, Jack and Kayvon and other leaders announced Super Follows, which is an upcoming subscription model so that, artists like DJ Scratch and folks who have really small audiences too. There's no audience requirement. You don't have to be famous to use it. In fact, a lot of fandoms are made of people who have just 100 super fans. And it's about allowing you to then narrowcast and target to those folks. So an example might be they might pay $5 a month and they can access a subset of special tweets, fleets, spaces, all kinds of things like that. Maybe they can DM you and others can't, So just we're playing with what those features are that are going to be part of the Super Follows package. And my guess is that there will be, some ability for the creator to actually choose what they want to offer in that package. And then it'll be subscription models. So they'll be able to see as they get more fans and, they'll continue to make more money. And Twitter's goal is really to get as much money in the hands of creators as possible. This isn't actually a part of our durability plan. Durability for us means diversifying revenue.
That's amazing.
So this is really meant to be creator focused and to help people monetize on our platform, which after 15 years, Twitter's been around, we haven't been the most innovative in that way. And things have really changed at the company. And we have the ability and the space to do that now. Because for many years we were focused on security and privacy and stability. And now we've kind of paid that tech debt down, have those things really locked down. And now it's
time to have fun.
Now it's time to build a bunch of features on top of that.
And I've seen some previews of some business services that are potentially rolling out in the future. I don't know. I've seen them kind of floating around Twitter. Something about changes to the business console and making it probably has something to do with the paywall related things. But we were speculating, and I know that Twitter is not the company that bought Square, but the CEO of Twitter is kind of.
We just share a CEO. They're a huge company on their own.
but we've had a bunch of artists talking about speculating that relationship may have some magical potential in the future as well, because a lot of people use Square, especially at venues, for their merch and things like that. So I think right now, because the entertainment industry is so devastated, if Twitter, and this is my advice to Twitter, and it sounds like you guys don't need my advice, but I want to say it just because I want to say it, right?
Always open to it.
Like if you guys rescue the entertainment industry and give artists feasible routes to make revenue and build real relationships with their people, you guys are going to win, and you're going to win big. And I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. I can say that it's a personal passion that I've brought into the team, and I'm leading creator monetization stuff in Spaces, and I feel very strongly that it's true, exactly what you said, that if we take care of folks and help them build fan bases that they can monetize and interact with in creative ways, then Twitter is really in its early days in terms of seeing its total value.
I agree.
And if Twitter needs an ambassador artist ambassador, holla at your boy.
Okay, thank you.
Well, Scratch both of you might have something to say about this, but I mean, I love that opening up because, I don't think artists realized when they were giving their, the sweat of their creativity to a lot of these streaming services that it was going to be devalued so much. And right now, at a time when we can't gig, if we had thought initially, it's like, no, we're not going to give you our stuff for free. It's just like a car. You got to buy it. We're not going to give it to you. But what we did was we gave it to the tech world. And now we're paying the price for that because we're getting pennies off that stuff.
That's right.
So
pennies.
As Matt said, if you or Twitter or anybody can say, you know what, that wasn't fair. We're going to give you an opportunity to actually make, valued revenue off of your creativity because we respect your creativity. I don't, Spotify gives a crap about my creativity. You know what I mean?
Twitter is looking like Twitter just put a cape on and y'all about to rescue all of us.
So is there a treble clef or a bass clef on the
I think it would be a treble clef.
Treble clef. All right. So Twitter is going to not single-handedly, but be a major player in saving the entertainment industry. I think it's going to happen. I'm excited. We'll see.
Yeah, and I think that
let's do it. I think that's the other thing is we're trying to build in public in an entirely new way with Spaces. I think people are seeing that. We're holding weekly gatherings of the community every Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific. Our team comes on, pieces of our team come on and just chat with folks, share what we've built, what's coming next, sharing designs in public. This is really unheard of for a publicly traded company to just open the kimono so wide. And so I would just encourage you, we really are listening to customers and want to be held accountable and to have your ideas heard. So I think that's also a piece of this equation that that's new and different and really exciting for, I think, our customers and also for us internally as a team.
Well, you've got your ambassador right above you.
Yes.
I would love to know who came into Twitter and shook up the building.
Gee, I wonder who that is.
I would say that like it was years in the making, but Kayvon, who leads product for, all of product for Twitter, leads consumer product. He had been at Twitter for a few years. He came in also as the CEO of an acquisition, the Periscope acquisition, and then worked his way up to lead all of product. And I think it's really helpful when you have somebody at the helm who really understands both the customer side of the problems and also the deep, politics inside of a company and how product really ships and like the engineering tech debt and all the things that need to kind of come together to increase the velocity and speed at which you work. And I think he was just like really the right person at the right time. And I'm really grateful to have him as a leader at this stage of the company, because he's doing a phenomenal job of getting product moving out the door and clearing the way for us. Like for all of the PMs who work at the company, there can be blockers at any big company. And he's just come in and been like, this is bullshit. We should be moving faster. Like, what do you need to speed things up? Let's just do it. Yeah. And I think that's really fantastic.
Because you're not in the corporate world. In the corporate world, sometimes it's it'll be a corporate structure, and then for it to be like a major pivot, like Twitter's about to do right now, somebody came in there and said, "Look, man, okay, we've been doing this shit like this for so long. Look what all of the cool shit everybody else is doing. I have ideas that's cooler than that shit. Let's make this shit cool, And I'm like, I want to know who did that. Who was that person? Because it had to be somebody to make that shift for everybody to pivot like that. But I love it. Y'all about to really just be the number one cool spot on social media.
Yep.
When I first saw Spaces, and I just saw like just the functionality of it now, and I know it's gonna, more's coming. I'm like, this shit is better than all the other stuff right now. Just in the beta, it's better.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great. Well, I know
it's kind of funny where, corporate thought or stereotypical corporate thought is, the fear of innovation and all that. We want to keep what we have. And then COVID happens and it's like, hey, the whole game changed, But obviously the stuff at Twitter didn't happen within a year. You've had this leadership going on for a while. But it is interesting and wonderful when leaders decide to go on the point of innovation and helping society rather than just keeping their football, whatever you want to call it, their basketball, and not moving forward.
I would say too, in the last 6 months, the corp dev team, so corporate development, they're the folks who lead M&A, buying companies. They have just really focused on bringing in startups who have teams and leaders who can help continue to spread that culture and energy. So, they acquired us, Squad, they acquired Breaker, they acquired this amazing design agency, Wayno, they acquired Review. Review is a paid newsletter, kind of a Substack competitor. Anyways, this is just they're bringing in really great people. And I think that's also a testament to Jack and Kayvon, who are, again, clearing the way, saying this culture that we want is one of a sort of startup mentality where we feel like, hey, for us to, be 100-year plus company, we really need to build new innovative products and services for our customers. And there's just an excitement around that. So
that's cool. I love it. Well, I know Esther is, she's a little busy launching a beta into an actual, not a beta, a public product. So she's been very gracious with us with her time, but I want to respect that. So she has to go, but we're going to also continue the discussion. Now you're welcome to stay, but it may go a little longer. We'll see.
Yeah, we're not kicking you out of the room.
We're not done with Scratch yet. So
I know I'm gonna pop off so that we can focus on Scratch. But thank you so much for having me, and I'm looking forward to DMs.
Yes,
Yep.
I'm gonna DM you tonight.
And
Okay.
and this stuff is all live on Twitter right now. You guys can use it for whatever, just to
Thank you.
promote the product. I'm fine with that. It's cool. So, all right. Well,
All
you
right.
have a great one, Esther.
Thank you
We'll
for
chat
taking the
more.
time to show up, Esther. It's really appreciated. We know you're super busy, and the Kingdom of Rock out there thanks you for your time as well.
So happy to have been here. Thanks for inviting me, guys.
Scratch. Oh, okay. I was gonna see if you had anything. She's
But
went.
now Scratch has got a lot of fans already popping up on the
like Twitch is going crazy.
Yvonne, Diamond Dreams. Do any of you out there want to pop a question for him into the comments?
Yeah, just drop some questions.
Dream, Channy, Nicki. Look, there's tons of you out there.
Well,
Yeah, that's the Scratch Angels. That's the Scratch Angels.
Let's see some questions pop up, Angels.
Well, let me ask you this, Scratch. Talk about that broadcast that you just did. What was it again? The Versus. Yeah. Dude, that was amazing.
Yeah, Versus is it was just it actually started with Swiss Beats and Just Blaze one day, just trash talking each other about who has the best catalog, production wise. So they met up at a Swiss studio, and they called a couple of cats, couple of artists, couple of DJs, and then next thing you know, we're all in the studio, and Swiss and Just Blaze are playing records they produced, and it's just like a battle, and and so it's just like Busta Rhymes, just everybody's in the studio. So of course we know all of this, we know these catalogs, so they're going record for record, record for record.
Sure.
And then it got ugly because then Swiss Beats started playing unreleased records. So he played a record. He played a record with I think it was Jay-Z, Nas, and I think DMX, and everybody was like, "Holy shit!" So Swiss just started playing unreleased records against Just Blaze. So basically, Swiss Beats like destroyed Just Blaze in that battle.
Right.
Because he had the exclusive. So
yeah,
it went viral that night. And then I think it was like the following summer, station in New York, here in New York, Hot 97 hip hop station, they do a concert every year called Summer Jam. So Swiss wanted to do it again. So he wanted to battle again. So he battled Kanye West live on the stage. So they did a battle, record for record, records that Kanye produced versus the records Swiss produced, and it was epic. They go on record for record, and then a couple of maybe 2 years later. So now Swiss and Timbaland are going back and forth on social media, trash talking each other. So Swiss is just basically going to every producer like, "Yo, I'm better than all of y'all," And so now Swiss and Timbaland are now trash talking each other about each other's catalogs, and they're going back and forth, and then eventually one day, Swiss Beats was in his car, and he was on Instagram Live with Timbaland, and they started playing each other's catalogs against each other, and that's how the versus thing came to be. So then they started getting different artists to battle against each other. It's not really a battle; it's just really a celebration of the culture and everybody's catalogs.
yeah.
So they just named it versus, spelled different, but it became that. So they've had songwriters against songwriters, and it basically put a spotlight on these songwriters, that people that songwriters are the unsung heroes of music, songwriters and producers, and they put songwriters against each other. So you didn't know that this guy wrote this big record and this guy wrote this big record. So it's putting a spotlight on them when they would never have that spotlight on them. Same thing with producers as well. And then they started doing with artists. So it would be, let's say, trying to think of one of the most popular. Beanie Man versus Bounty Killer, two reggae icons, dance hall
Mhm.
icons. And then they had Patti LaBelle versus Gladys Knight, which was like super epic. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so this particular one that I was a part of last week was it was supposed to be D'Angelo versus Maxwell.
Yeah.
And it was supposed to happen on Valentine's Day. So, you know, me, D'Angelo, and a mutual friend of ours, we're on a three-way call, and we you know, we started like, yo, you should do verses.
Mhm.
And he didn't really know what verses was, so we explained it to him. He was like, yeah, I'm down to do it. But who would I go against? So we trying to, you know, figure out who would be the perfect opponent for D'Angelo. So we came up with Maxwell. So everybody reached out to Maxwell. He agreed, and our plan was to do it on Valentine's Day. D'Angelo's birthday is 3 days before Valentine's Day, so it would have been a celebration for his birthday. Um, on Valentine's Day, two two singers that women adore. So it would have broke the internet, and Maxwell backed out of it like 2 days before.
Oh.
So so imagine having like the biggest concert in the world about to happen, and one person backs out, and everything has been set. So it became like a whirlwind shitstorm. Like, okay, what are we gonna do? So they finally came up with okay, we're gonna do D'Angelo versus Friends, which has never been done before in the versus series.
Mhm.
So and I was supposed to DJ for D'Angelo, but just play his music while he's going against Maxwell. I wasn't supposed to be on camera or anything like that. I was just supposed to be playing his music for him. And then they got three artists to be the Friends. And the night before versus, they all backed out as well.
Oh no. Oh
They all backed
man.
out. Yeah, they all backed out as well. I can't even say who they are, but they all backed out as well. Three major artists, they backed out. So
Wow.
now it's like, what the hell are we gonna do? So he's like, yo, this one, and this one backed out. So now it's only Redman and Method Man. So I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, you're still an icon yourself. Unfortunately, the way it was promoted, the fans are gonna expect other friends. I said, but let's just, I'm gonna put a show together for us because now it goes from me just DJing in the background for him to now DJing with him on stage. So now we're performing together. So that's really DJ. It's D'Angelo and DJ Scratch. So I put a show together that morning, like about 6 o'clock in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning. I finished putting the show together for us, and hours later we did the show. And at the last minute, I called the singer Her, and she came through as a surprise for D'Angelo, and we made the magic happen. But people behind the scenes had no idea all of the stuff we were dealing with behind the scenes.
Oh
But
yeah.
but as a professional, you have to make sure once you hit that stage, you don't see that stress in the artist and or anything else that was going on. And just my job as an MD, your main job is once that last song is performed, the artist has to have a smile on his face. So he had a smile on his face. I did my job, and everything worked out.
That is a crazy story, man. That is nuts.
That should need to be like a little mini doc. All of the shit that we was going through behind the scenes.
Yeah, do like a
Yeah,
Netflix special a few
yeah,
years from now.
absolutely. I think
Why,
this has
why
to
do
be a
you think?
Netflix special.
Why do you think that so many people backed out? Was it just fear of the concept? I don't want to go against this person, or
No, it was. I can't even say honestly, but once I found out why, then I was like, wow. But it was just, I can never respect why they backed out because they're supposed to be friends.
Mhm.
And at the end of the day, we're supposed to be celebrating each other's music. We're in a pandemic. We're all not working right now, so we should all support each other. And just honestly, the Versus platform is so big. It's the biggest platform on the internet. once you step on that stage, anything that you have out there is gonna spike. If you have music on any DSPs, it's gonna spike.
Yeah.
You're literally gonna sell 100,000 more units minimum because you haven't having like a few million people watching you. So it's gonna benefit everybody at the end of the day. So I didn't understand why, everybody were backing out like that. But at the end of the day, I couldn't even worry about that because I had to just do my job to save the show. So
Well,
I couldn't even celebrate, you know, um, I couldn't even celebrate what I was doing because I was just basically doing my job. I had to I had to do a set that was so good that it was going to cause a distraction that the people weren't there, that we were
yeah.
supposed to, that the crowd was
Yeah.
expecting.
Yeah.
So I was just doing my part. I couldn't celebrate. I couldn't celebrate the win because there was so much going on, so much stress going on. So I couldn't even celebrate the win because I was just honestly just
How do
doing my
you,
job.
as an artist, when you've got business coming at your artist brain with a Mack truck full of bricks, like what do you do to like just stay focused and keep it in its place, when all these problems are coming at you like that?
Um, through experience of going through stuff like this, this it's not the first fire I had to put out, but it was the biggest fire I had to put out on the internet because it's different, doing this on the internet than a concert. It's totally different, and if it goes wrong on the internet, you go viral for fucking up, and that's the worst
Right.
thing. You can
Right.
you can fuck up at a concert, and people will be like, "Oh, okay, he fucked up," or she fucked up, and it won't go past that town. But if you do it on the internet and on a world stage, the whole world is like, he fucked up. But it's just dealing with that through experience, just like with anything. Like if you're a boxer and you can't possibly be a boxer and expect not to get hit,
Mhm.
and expect not to get hit hard. You have to learn how to get hit in order to win, because you're gonna get
Mm-hmm.
hit.
Yep.
You have to learn how to get hit, learn how to take a hit, and if you get knocked down, you got to learn how to get the hell up and finish the fight.
Yeah.
So it's just basically that through experience. So that's how I get through it. The first time I had to put out a fire like that, of course it was stressful, anxiety, all of that. But the first time you get through it and you see that yo, nobody in this crowd knows all of the shit I just had to go through because the concert was perfect. So
Mhm.
once I learned that, that the crowd will never know what's going on behind the scenes, then it was easier to deal with these situations when they when when I approach them.
And I'm sure you've had plenty of like 5-star celebrity artist experiences where you didn't have to do anything but walk out there and just make the magic happen, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like
absolutely,
now, and
absolutely.
so how has that shifted with COVID? Now it's all your responsibility and all your fault now, right?
It's all your
Is that,
fault. If it goes wrong, it's
yeah.
all your fault. It's
Yeah.
all your fault. So you definitely have to be on top of your game
Well,
before that camera goes live.
something you said just a couple of minutes ago, though, as far as we're all friends, we're all in this business together. COVID has devastated us equally. Do you feel that at your level that artists are supporting each other enough, or we're going to have to reignite this music industry somehow, and it would be sad if there wasn't more. Hey, we're buddies. Let's help this. Let's together. Let's make this happen.
I honestly look at it like this. Before COVID, you can have friends, and you might appear to be as closer than you actually think. And
Mhm.
the saying is, you never know who's really down for you until something goes bad. You
Mhm.
never know how, if somebody's really gonna ride for you when times are good. But if I'm making a lot of money, you're making a lot of money, our friendship would never be tested because we're making money. You know what
Right.
I mean? Everything is great. Your friendship is only tested when shit goes bad. You never
Yep.
know when you never know somebody's down for you until shit is bad. And then when somebody steps up when it's bad, that's when you know that person is really your friend. And crisis doesn't build character, it reveals it. And during this pandemic, I'm sure everybody in every facet of life has figured out that somebody who they, thought was their friend or somebody that they love doesn't love them the same way.
True words. Very true.
Well, maybe Twitter can be our friend that doesn't let us down for once. Social
That's right.
media.
That's
Pay
right.
attention.
I can't wait for the new Twitter rollout. Can't wait.
Hopefully, Esther will make you the ambassador of all things spaces too. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I would gladly take that position.
Well, we'll do our best to if we have any pull, we'll definitely talk you up, bro. But I don't think you need. I think the gold circles on your wall back there that says a little bit.
Well, I guess
man.
We're at that point, man. It's
well. I just want to ask about them gold circles. So you have obviously some creds that most people are probably not ever going to have in today's industry, right?
Right.
Like what did you learn the most from, having that peak where, the music industry is like put you out there and you're the guy, right?
Right.
And now there's everyone wants to be an artist. Everybody is trying to be famous. Everybody will try to undercut you and get, we're a bunch of pirates trying to take the other pirate ship. Right.
Well, it's always been that way. It was that way.
Right. That's right.
Yeah. But now, what's different now?
Of course, it's a digital space now. Monetary wise, the streams is, my albums are the gold albums. Like there's a bunch of platinum albums in here too, like a couple of walls in here. But the gold albums, the platinum, those were actual 500,000 people bought the physical record.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main things. The money is different. The streaming DSPs, it's just like they completely robbing everybody. That's really it, man. But most importantly, you have to you just really have to just focus on longevity because everybody's getting money thrown at them from these labels and these different companies and stuff like that, but they're not focusing on building a catalog of music. That's what this right here says behind me. This is an actual catalog of music that even to this day, these plaques are over 30 years old. This music still gets played on the radio. This music still gets played in clubs. And that's the goal that a lot of people, like the current artists, are not really thinking about. They're thinking about the next novelty wave or whatever, but they're not focusing on studying the music from the late 60s and early 70s like we did to understand making records and making quality music that's going to last generations.
That's awesome.
Well, we are at the top of the hour and we've been going a little while. I wanted to thank you, Scratch, for being here and sharing your time with us and the Kingdom of Rock audience. Hopefully some artists out there can learn from our conversation today. But, any last words before we close shop for the day?
First of all, I want to thank y'all for having me on here. And just to artists, like I said earlier, when Esther was in here, make sure you interact with your fan base because you're nothing without them. People think because, I'm the artist and you're the fan that, you're nothing. Actually, the fan is the most important. We're nothing without the fans. So, I wish when James Brown was alive, when Michael Jackson was still alive, when Prince was alive, that they actually had social media and I can talk to them and they reply back to me. That shit would make my whole life, Just take care of your fans, man, and because your fans take care of you.
That's awesome.
It's good advice. Mike, got any closing comments?
No, just thanks, Scratch. Awesome words. You know, we're all here to teach people how to get better at what they do. So we appreciate you adding to the conversation. It was great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
Yep. And I just wanted to give a couple announcements before we close shop. We have Mondays on Clubhouse. We have a text artist for musicians and creatives. So we kind of we're talking to people about maybe potentially pivoting your business model if you're looking at getting into tech, how you could do that and build a tech startup like we're doing with Neural Tunes. Also, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we have a live stream here, just like we're doing today. So come and join us. And Scratch, if people want to get a hold of you, what's the best way to do it?
All of my social media platforms at DJ Scratch. I'm usually on Instagram the most, and I have my own social media platform as well, scratchvision.com. So they can reach me anywhere. They can even reach me on MySpace because my MySpace account is still alive. And like how we said when we met on Clubhouse, I still want to buy MySpace.
Yeah, I want to tell that story before you go. It's a really good one. It's short. So we were all in a room and we were just talking about bold moves that we could make because we got all these artists together and there was like hundreds of us in the room and we were just all talking and Scratch was in there and it was like somebody was like, hey, what if we just buy MySpace? And then all of a sudden we started talking about it. And we're like, that's not a bad idea. Maybe we should buy MySpace, you know? So, and I think Scratch has actually been looking into like how that could happen. So
yeah,
it's pretty, that would be interesting too, you know?
Yeah, I think we can raise. I think we can raise like $40 million, and then we probably would need like another like $5 million just to build an app because that was the only thing that MySpace didn't have. Is because Twitter was the first. Twitter was the first app generation with social media. So if we raise some money, buy the name, rebuild it, but also keep that top 8 because that shit was very important on MySpace.
Oh yeah.
And build an app for MySpace because MySpace was the only site where it actually had a music player on it, unlike all other social media. So the music was already.
Yeah, it's like they want to keep you from playing your music. It's crazy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But MySpace had a music site. It was the regular account or the music account. People are getting record deals from being on MySpace.
Absolutely.
My MySpace page right now, if you go to myspace.com/DJ Scratch, there's still my music player is still there. My top 8 is still. I took 4 out of my top 8 because I don't speak to them anymore. So I took 4 out of my top 8. So I have a top 4 right now, but everything is still there. They keep rebuilding the site, but there's still like millions of people on MySpace, and they made $140 million in 2019. So something's still going on over there.
So Twitter, if you end up not being our hopes and dreams realized, we got options, right?
That's right.
We'll do it ourselves.
We do it ourselves. That's it.
All right, bro. Well, that's a good thought to close on. And thanks again for being on the show every Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Matt Gibson, Michael Melinda, DJ Scratch, Kingdom of Rock, out.